All right, hey guys, welcome back to the Regular Size Man podcast. Week number 30 coming at you right now. In the background, we do have Nick and Brian making a reappearance, just playing a bit of Mario Kart. So if at any point I scream, Sam screams, they scream, we all scream, I scream, just something, it's because of that. So let's just roll the intro music.
I'm going to walk out before the podcast even starts.
All right, let's just roll the intro music.
All right. Alright, so welcome back to the Regular Size Man podcast. My name is Sam, and this is Jacob, and this is Nick and Brian in the background. If you're on Spotify, Apple Music, or SoundCloud, bad luck. But if you're on YouTube, then yeah, you get to see the full experience. View. So yeah, 30 weeks in a row. Not in a row, 30 weeks. 30
weeks isn't bad.
Not bad.
I think we're close to...
almost a year.
We were close to in a row, though.
Yes, we've only missed like 1 or 2 weeks.
No, one, I think.
Yeah, anyway, long and short, 30 weeks.
I was like, I need to know anyway.
No, I don't know. We don't need to know. Yeah. Anyway, we're over halfway towards a whole year, which is exciting. Yeah. Very exciting, very good. What have you been up to this week? Has anything...
How I Met Your Mother, binge watching real hard. I'm up to season 4 already.
God damn.
Yeah, I think last week I said I was up to season 2. I'm up to season 4 already. Dude, I love it, man. I think we might be doing a bracket.
Yes.
To start next year for the best sitcom, but dude, I'm loving How I Met Your Mother so much. I love it so much.
It is a great show. Yeah. It is a great show.
I've also been playing Jedi Fallen Order again. Something happened with my data, so I had to start the game again.
Nice.
And I'm loving it, dude. I found the Darth Maul lightsaber, so I've just been smashing it. I think I'm loving it more the second time around, and that just says a lot about the game. It's really, really good. So I'll keep updating as I get further in the game. What about you?
Sorry, the corner. Nick just won. They're playing Mario Kart if you like it. Anyway, this is going to transition to our first topic. I've been watching Star Wars. I'm getting ready. We are seeing Rise of Skywalker this Friday, so it's currently Monday. On Friday, we are seeing Rise of Skywalker. And so I've been doing a full binge trying to get through all the movies. I've seen the trilogy, the original trilogy, and I finished the prequels yesterday, and I started... Force Awakens number 7 as well yesterday. So that, Last Jedi, and then I'll try and finish the 2 spin-offs before Friday. We'll see how we go. But just need to get through the Last Jedi and the Force Awakens.
Are you looking forward to the spin-offs or just...
yeah, I've seen them before.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
so I've seen them already, but I don't really remember them in context to the rest of Star Wars. So, But yeah, so this actually leads into our first topic, which is the debate of the prequels. Now, I enjoyed the prequels quite a lot. My cousin Lucas, shout out to him, he enjoys the prequels more than the original trilogy, which is very controversial. I even said that to him.
Yes.
But, you don't like the prequels.
Okay, it's not that... No, okay.
Brian likes the prequels.
Brian likes the prequels. Nick definitely has not watched anything Star Wars related in his life, so that's fine. He doesn't know what a prequel is. But I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong. They're not the worst things ever. And I will watch them because they're okay. They've got good things in them. I'll give Obi-Wan's pretty good in it. I do enjoy that. Qui-Gon Jinn's good in it. Darth Maul is a good inclusion. The third movie, Revenge of the Sith, is actually probably the best one, and I think it's okay. But look, we did talk about it in the group chat, so I'm just going to read off there because I don't want to forget my points. But it's okay. The midichlorians shit, that was just bad and weird.
That's a small thing in one movie.
Yeah, but it's so weird. Even J.J. Abrams said it's stupid and it's not worth it. He said that this week, that it's not worth including. That's why he didn't include it. It's the most ridiculous thing. I feel like it was just irrelevant to the story. Why bring it up? They had a 10-year-old Anakin try to get with Padme.
Okay.
Come on, man. That was weird.
I mean, I get it.
That was extremely weird. I don't like that at all. Anyway, that set the tone for me from all the movies.
Mate, he's a smooth criminal. Leave him alone.
Okay, what do you think of the pod racing?
I loved it. I thought that I was the best. I was the only good thing about the Phantom Menace.
The only good thing I like about
Liam Neeson.
True. No, the battle between Qui-Gon Jinn, Obi-Wan, and Darth Maul is pretty good, though.
That is true.
I'll give you that.
The rest of the movie of Phantom Menace was okay-ish, but then it had its moments like that. But I enjoyed the pod racing.
Yeah, the only thing I like about pod racing is the fact that there is a game. In a time zone, you know how you get those races where you can hop on the bikes and stuff, and you're there was a pod racing one of that, and that's the only reason I like pod racing.
There's also a Nintendo 64 game, and I have it.
Is it good?
Yeah,
let's play it after this. But going back to Phantom Menace, they introduced the Senate and democracy and politics, which I feel like I think they include it too much. I don't think it's really that relevant, to be honest with you. I think it's silly a little bit.
They did go full in on that. And there was at times where I was like, oh yeah, like, I kind of like, it kind of lost me, like with the whole Jedi and the Senate and the Republic, and there was too many like things, and I just kind of
too many entities, kind of. Yeah.
I don't think like the Senate, like the Jedi and the Senate and the Republic, and then it was just too much at times. I will agree with that. Yeah. But overall, besides, if you look past that, I didn't think they were. I thought they were very good movies. Like,
look, I will give them this. I do like thoroughly enjoy the setup of how they have the Jedi Council as this big entity, and then they go and then they just hit the ground, like they're just gone. I really do like. I like the whole how they're just there for peace and justice, and then they're just down. They're gone. Yeah. I really do like that, and I do think Revenge of the Sith is pretty good. I think Hayden Christensen is not a good actor.
I loved him as Anakin. I'm sorry, I had to say it.
But I do like him in number 3 when he acts angry. And hating, he's good.
His Vader was really good.
Yeah, his Vader is very good.
I will say though, number 3 was emotional. Like, I thought that was one of the best Star Wars movies. I'm saying it now.
Yeah.
Because it was really interesting to see. Like, I don't think anybody wanted to see him go to the dark. Like, obviously he was great Darth Vader, but like, seeing him be Anakin for 2 movies and then just see him snap, it was just really sad.
Yeah, okay.
The only thing I didn't like about Revenge of the Sith was how Padme died, or like the reasoning. It was just kind of like, she has no will to live. She's gonna die. It was just kind of like,
no, she died from childbirth.
No,
I thought she died from her childbirth. I have not seen the 3rd one in a while.
Yeah,
I swear it was because of childbirth.
No, she was completely healthy, but she was dying.
Can't find anything wrong with her, and then she has no will to live.
Oh, what a bitch!
So there's a theory that Palpatine sucked like her life to save Anakin's. Which I like that theory.
Yeah.
And there was another theory my cousin told me. I'll get it up. But in the meantime, I really like that theory. I think that makes more sense.
I like that too.
Yeah. Like, it actually makes sense for a theory.
Yeah. I will give them credit. It's not a good movie, but the second one, The Clone Wars, it is good in the sense that it set up the Clone Wars TV show, and I really like the Clone Wars TV show. You haven't seen it, and I don't know if Brian, have you seen it? No. Yeah. Well, it's a kid's show, but it is quite good. It's really interesting to watch. So I'll give them credit for that. But other than that, look, I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot wrong with them. Like, there's a lot in the movies that no one gives a shit about. Like, I think it's in the second one. When Anakin and Padme go back to Padme's home planet. I don't know what it's called. Can't remember what it's called.
Yeah.
And they're like in that, and they're like on that, like he's protecting her, and they're on like that date kind of shit where they're in the grass and shit running around.
Yeah.
Why? No one cares about that.
Well, I thought that was important to the story because I feel like Padme's part of the reason why he turned.
Well, no, it definitely is.
But it kind of shows him falling in love. So that's why I kind of.
Okay, that's true. I suppose. So I did like his motives. Quickly,
I really like the motives as well. It was really good. And Palpatine's as well. Just him as a character, he did very well.
I thought so too.
I thought he was very evil, and I really liked it. I just think that the movies were really good. I think maybe, like, did you see the thing today or like the other day about how J.J. Abrams wants to re-release the original trilogy? Yeah. I think if they like kind of gave him a little bit of a proper edit, modern day, I feel like, and re-release them, I feel like I'd maybe appreciate them more. Because I won't lie to you, I do struggle with older movies, not because they're not good movies, but just because they're old and like they're like not as well put together. They've done that countless times. Like those one on Disney Plus aren't the originals. Yeah. They've been changed in a lot of different ways. But yeah, I definitely can understand where you're coming from, 100%. Yeah. Like, I don't know if that's just like, but in saying that, there are movies from like really old movies that I do enjoy a lot. Star Wars, I mean, like obviously the original trilogy, and obviously the original trilogy are amazing, but if they remade it with today's technology, could you, like, I would be very, I wouldn't mind it. One thing else, just to end it, I think another thing I don't like about the prequels is I feel like they kind of lose a little bit of the essence of Star Wars, just a tiny bit. I think when you watch the original trilogy, I think it's kind of like, I don't know, you get this kind of feeling when that every scene is important and it's different and it's like creating this world. But then I watch the prequels and I feel like a lot of them are just kind of not very. There's not enough like spirit in them. It sounds really silly. I don't know how to put my put it into words, but there's not like, I feel like there's some scenes and some parts in it where there's just like there's no spirit. There's no Star Wars spirit, and that kind of gets me. That
That
They
kind
are
of gets me,
different,
and
yes.
that's where I think The Force Awakens got that spirit back. The Last
It
Jedi,
awoke.
correct.
It should
I
be
think
changed the Force and the Spirit away.
the Force is work. The Force is work. That's what we're calling it.
Okay.
New Star Wars 7 title. Star Wars is work. But number 8 is a bit. No, number 8 takes a bit of a dip.
Yeah.
But it still is kind of there.
But that wasn't the one that J.J. Abrams worked. He did not work.
No,
on
Ryan
Lot-
Johnson did that. The director of Knives Out.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Because even then, like J.J. Abrams did come out today and say that was a bit air. So did
John Boyega.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see where J.J. Abrams does finish the story, and you know what an honor to have
Yeah.
him finish the story of Star Wars.
Well, he did really good with number 7.
He did.
He
I really enjoyed
really
number
did.
7. Yeah. So very exciting all round, and yeah,
Big
we'll
time.
see how we go. But overall, I like the prequels. You do not.
I do not.
We'll agree to disagree.
I'll watch them.
We'll rewatch
But
them.
I will sit and I will enjoy, but I don't think they're good movies. No.
Fair enough. We'll
Yeah.
agree to disagree. All right, so it's time for our favorite segment of the week. Hey Siri, open YouTube.
Oh, we're doing a bit of audio.
To unlock your eye.
Yeah, there's a bit of bootleg.
Yeah, we're doing we're doing audio with it now. You're not just you're not just secretly doing what you do every week and just
No,
like
I
as
don't
I'm
care.
as I'm finishing the last segment, you're getting up the.
I don't get rumor mill. All right, so a rumor came out today that Werewolf is rumored to appear in the Moon Knight Disney Plus show. In the comics, he partners with Moon Knight after he is contracted to take him down. So I know Jacob is interested in this topic. So why is this?
Well, I did like we saw this rumor and I read a bit about Werewolf, and essentially he's just this guy who his family has been plagued with a curse that I don't know how many members of the family, but they become werewolves on the full moon every month, and essentially he just kind of. So what he does is to try and suppress or make himself feel better about becoming a werewolf. He tries to do as much good as he can, and I think this would be a perfect counterpart to Moon Knight in whatever way, whether he becomes the main villain for most of the series, whether he becomes an ally halfway through, no matter what. I think it would be really, really cool to see this character in the Moon Knight series.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
All right, sweet. So Dave Bautista, known as Drax from MCU, has posted a picture of himself outside the Warner Brothers headquarters. Why do you think he was there, Sam?
Well, there is a rumor that he will be taking over as Bane in the DCEU in future. I'm all for it. I feel like he's got the perfect build and head shape for it. Otherwise, I would have no idea. Obviously, he is looking for work and he does want a long-time role. Now that Guardians is kind of on the way out with, Guardians 4 and then it'll probably be done. Yeah. So he's probably looking for a new role. And I feel like superhero movies are kind of his alley, being from a wrestling background and stuff.
Yeah. Well, what do you think of his acting ability?
I think he's good. Like, I feel like he'd be good as Bane.
I think so
he'd be
too.
a good Bane.
Yeah.
I think Bane, like that fan theory, I think that's a very good one,
Mhm.
and I think that's where he should be.
Do you think that he should be CGI'd as much bigger, or do
No.
you think that he could just pass? Because me personally, I think I would like to see him CGI'd as like a 9 foot, 8 foot guy.
Okay.
Because he's still huge.
Yeah,
What you do is you just proportionally enlarge him to match his height, which because he's obviously as I said, he's a big guy. I think he would go really well in the role though.
Yeah, he's fine for muscle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Just put the rock in the place of the other buff dude.
Yeah, good one, mate. Quentin Tarantino has said that he has some ideas for Kill Bill Volume 3. I haven't seen it, but I did watch my first Tarantino movie this year in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So, Sam, would you want to see a modern-day sequel to this infamous series?
See, I don't know what they would do with Kill Bill 3. So, spoiler alert, Bill is killed. So they wanted to kill Bill, and they did that at the end of the second one.
Congratulations.
Yeah, good job. But if they want to, I'm not opposed to this because as Tarantino wants to make 10 movies, this still counts under Kill Bill, which is the one movie for him. So if that gives me an extra Tarantino movie, I'm all for it. However, I don't know where they would go with it, or if it's just going to be just to bring in the name of Kill Bill just to get another movie popular.
Yeah.
So I'm not too sure, but yeah, I'm not against a good Tarantino movie. So
you'd happily see this again?
Yeah, I'd happily see it.
Awesome.
And last one, the Power Rangers are allegedly set to make a comeback from the 1990s and will feature time travel in the movie. Now, Jacob, I know you're not happy about this. Why are you not happy about this?
Okay, well, all right. I really, really wanted. I pushed hard for us to include this in the podcast because you don't give a shit about Power Rangers, and to be fair, I don't really care about them either. I really wanted to push hard.
Not giving a shit. Different word. I've just never been, never seen it. Never been involved with the Power Rangers in my life.
So, I'm pretty sure it's a 90s and 80s thing. So I didn't actually properly grow up on it, but I know that they did some reboot TV shows when I was like 15 or something, and I know they were on TV. I watched the one that came out in 2017, I think it is, with what's his name? Who's the guy that played? You've seen Stranger Things, season 4?
No.
You've seen Stranger Things season 4?
Yes.
The guy that plays season 3. You've seen the guy that plays Billy. Dacre Montgomery, I think his name is. Yeah, he's in it. He plays the lead one. Naomi Scott, my crush, is in it as well.
My future wife.
My future wife. They're good, but the movie is shit. It is probably one of the worst things that I've ever seen. Probably because Elizabeth Banks is in it. I'd say that's probably the reason. Nah, it's just, look, it's a horrible movie. So I don't look, and that was 2 years ago. Why bother? This is the same thing that we talked about on the Newsflash last week with Rise of the Planet of the Apes. Why reboot this?
I mean,
Nobody
Rise of the
cares.
Planet of the Apes, the movies apparently aren't that bad. I will go
No,
back
I've
to
heard they're
that.
actually alright.
Like,
Yeah.
so in that defense, I've heard that they're alright and they've all done well in the box office. So that makes more sense now looking into it.
Of course,
But
of course.
Power Rangers, if they released a movie 2 years ago, I never even knew that. But if they released something 2 years ago and it didn't do well,
Why?
it's 2 years later. It's
Why
not really,
reboot it?
Yeah, it's not very smart.
So this one's apparently going to have. It's going to be set in the 1990s and will have time travel in some way. I mean, I don't get it. I don't get it. I just think there's things that you've rebooted so many times. Why keep going? Like Ninja Turtles. I really love Ninja Turtles, so it's a bit different for me. Like I would see them again, but even that, it's starting to die.
I think time travel's a big fad at the moment, and I think that's why they're hopping on it.
Yeah.
Because, you know, with the whole Endgame stuff, and then there's other movies that are getting on the time travel vibe, I think it's kind of reasoning.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's I'm not.
Yeah.
We're ending this.
Yeah. Oh, please.
All right. So our Marvel segment of the week, we have a great discussion. So Big Kev, our boy Big Kev, Kevin Feige, mentioned that the next step in the MCU is the inclusion of the multiverse. Now, we wanted to have a discussion on whether you think that the Infinity Saga can be topped by a time-traveling multiverse saga, whatever they choose to go with in this direction.
Yeah.
So
do you want me to start it off?
You
want
start
to kick
this
it
off because I'll hand the torch to you.
Okay, so we did talk about this with Brian on our group chat on Instagram as well.
Unofficially, yeah.
Unofficially. And Brian said that he doesn't think anything could top the Infinity Saga.
And I second him on that one.
You second him. I somewhat agree. I think you've definitely got a very good point. I definitely think that the Infinity Saga is this big thing. I think personally, it probably won't be because it's the first. It's the first, and it's
like the original trilogy of Star Wars.
Exactly. It's the first, but it's not even like it's just average. It's extremely good. The whole saga is extremely good. When your worst movie is Thor: The Dark World, you got a pretty good franchise. So okay, the Hulk.
The Hulk doesn't count.
I don't really count the Hulk though. Yeah, but
Brian wants a mic. He
Well,
wants a mic.
he wants a mic. Nah, look, when those are your worst movies, it's a pretty good franchise. So I think from that perspective, it's going to be extremely, extremely hard to top. And because Thanos is such a very good and compelling villain, as well as I think you've got you've got a chance of repetition. So whatever Marvel does from here, it's going to be hard to not repeat themselves. No matter what they do, no matter what the storyline, no matter who the next villain is. And as well, you've got such an emotional tie to the original characters like Captain America and Iron Man. So it's going to be hard to let them go and then accept something new and then still thoroughly enjoy that. So, look, I think there's a chance. I always think there's a chance. And as we've talked about week in, week out, I think Marvel are very... I always have faith in Marvel. So I think that they have every chance of doing it. But I don't know. I don't think DC will do it anytime soon at the very least. But I think Marvel could do it with the next saga. What do you think?
Yeah. See, I started to see that it started to get a bit chaotic with Endgame, with how the writers and directors perceived the movie. Because with time travel and the multiverse, it kind of gives a bit of a, like, you can kind of do whatever you want to manipulate the story and get the result that you want. And I'm not saying Marvel will do that through and through. However, you know, with certain things like who lives and who dies and what rules kind of apply, you can kind of really adapt the rules of time travel to anything. As we've seen in like Back to the Future and like other movies that have dabbled in time travel, you can really manipulate the rules of time travel to suit your needs of the movie. And what I liked about the Infinity Saga was it was like mostly present day. Obviously, we went back in time with Captain Marvel and what other movies we did. Captain Marvel and that was it.
Black Widow coming up.
Black Widow, yeah. But like that's not the Infinity Saga, but you know what I mean.
Oh, sorry. Yep.
Yeah. So like, you know what the difference is that basically I don't know, because it's going to be so in depth. I don't think Marvel need to go above and beyond like they always have, and because of that, it does become. Take the phone. There we go. Because of that, it does become. Yeah, it's going to be different, and I don't know if it's going to be better or worse. I think it can get a bit chaotic with Multiverse, and there'll be more factors that I will not like coming into the MCU next few phases.
I can understand that.
Because it might be like a character's not killed off because of like the multiverse and brought back, and I'm just like, it just won't be as interesting to me. I liked the Infinity Saga, and I think I will always hold a bias towards it. Yeah. Yep. So that's just how I see it anyway.
Well, who do you think would be a good villain for them to have in the next saga?
Galactus would be cool if they did a multiverse
do
thing.
Do you think Galactus would be a realistic villain to do? Do you think he'd be? Do you think he'd be able to top Thanos? I mean, not as a villain, but as the cornerstone of the dark side for the next saga.
I mean, I think that Galactus would be a great villain, but he would be a very difficult villain to portray on the big screen and have people properly understand. Yep. Yeah,
because I've talked about this before in a previous week. I think probably one of our very early episodes, like number 5 off the top of my head, maybe 7 actually. And I would really love to see Kang the Conqueror.
Yeah, no, I'm all for that.
So he's just to let you guys know, he's a time traveling villain. He basically just goes from different periods in time and conquers that universe, takes over. There's a really good TV show, I think simply called The Avengers. Called Avengers Assemble, and Kang the Conqueror is a villain in that, and he just comes to the modern day and takes over there and basically just turns the whole Earth into a dystopian future. But I think he'd be awesome, especially with the multiverse coming up as the next villain. I think he'd be awesome for it.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you.
Do you think that DC could do it?
What, a multiverse?
Just not a multiverse. Do you think they could top the Infinity Saga with not presently constructed? Let's say, okay, let's go back a few years. Yeah, so let's say you've already got Man of Steel. Let's say you've already got Batman v Superman, and let's say Justice League isn't how it is. Let's say Justice League is good. Let's say Justice League is good. Yeah. You've got Wonder Woman. Let's say a Flash movie has come out, and let's say Aquaman has come out. Do you think that they would have had the potential to top the Infinity Saga with something to do with their? Say they had like 3 Justice League movies. I
think there was potential, mainly because you got the characters of DC. I feel like it's just. Hang on, give me a sec. So is this a way of transitioning into our next topic, I guess you could say?
It is.
So our next topic involves the Snyder Cut. And more information has come out on it, which really excites us and really gives, answers this question.
Look,
or really,
just quickly, just to preface this, based on all this information, I think it's going to come out. I think it's going to come out at 2020. Don't know how, don't know when, but I think it's going to come out.
Very interesting. So basically, long and short of it, we'll give you this information, then we'll come back to the question. More information came out about the Snyder Cut. Basically, the assembly cut, which is the second last cut of the movie before they added special effects and before they cut. And then so they had the special effects and they cut it down one more time, and that's your final cut of the movie. Yeah. So the Snyder Cut's assembly cut was 5 hours long, and apparently got cut down to 3.5 hours after. And Zack Snyder also shared a photo of Superman in the black suit, with the quote, "My Superman," and it was said that someone asked him about his journey back to the blue suit, which is basically his rebirth. I think that's how you explain it to me.
No, exactly that.
And basically that was meant to be covered in 2 more movies after Justice League. So basically what you had is a 3.5 hour, apparently it was meant to be 3.5 hours after the assembly cut.
Yes.
A 3.5 hour Justice League movie showing the rebirth of Superman and everything great about it.
And also showing Darkseid actually being in the movie.
Yes.
Yep.
And showing this full proper Justice League movie. Then adding in on top of that 2 more Superman movies, plus probably another Batman movie, probably plus whatever else you're going to add. You get a Flash movie, you get everything in there that you want.
Yeah.
It could have led to be an amazing trilogy. Yeah. I don't know if it would have topped the Infinity Saga because I don't know what threat they could have had that would be that would best tie it all in.
I mean, Darkseid would have been the exact he's pretty much essentially Thanos. So I think you've got that, but I don't think it would have, only because I think what's happened before. I think Justice League, again, we've talked about this before, but Justice League I think came too early. I think they didn't put enough movies before Justice League, because I think Justice League was don't get me wrong, I think Zack Snyder's was going to be different, obviously, but I think Justice League was such a big thing. I think it was too big for the movies that had already come before it, because you'd only had Wonder Woman, Batman v Superman, and Man of Steel before it. That's only 3 movies and not a lot of story about all the characters. So I think Justice League was too, for what it was, I think it was too big to be a movie where they're all there.
Yeah.
So I think before what you've got before it wouldn't have made it a great saga. But anyway, what were you going to say?
I think if you go back, I feel like the thing about the MCU, it was very deliberate in how they did things. And, you know, to have like a subtle post-credit scene teasing Thanos, you know, and a ballsy move at that to include it in the Guardians of the Galaxy, which before they came out, they weren't really known about. They weren't really known characters.
No.
And to bring them out and then have a post-credit scene teasing the entire villain of the whole saga, you know, I feel like DC wouldn't take the same risks.
Probably not.
No, I feel like DC are much more careful with their decisions because that they know that their characters, and I think you can agree with this, their characters are much more popular. Batman,
easily.
Superman, Joker, they're, you know, just those 3 alone, they're the most popular superheroes and villains out of anything.
Yeah, if you ask any non-comic book fan, if I ask Nick right now, well, I mean, actually he doesn't count because he's been listening the whole time, but if I ask any non-comic book fan, he is. If I ask any, okay, Nick, name me 3 comic book villains, heroes. Doesn't matter from where.
Oh, there's Iron Man.
Okay, Iron Man.
Okay, you're a fuck. You're a fuck. You're actually just fucking with me now. All right. If I ask any non-comic book fan, I think the first people they would say was Superman, Batman, Joker.
Yeah, pretty much.
I thought you said other than that.
I did not.
Oh, my bad.
Don't worry. Anyway, continue.
But yeah, essentially what I think is that DC already know that they have the better characters. They just need to put out good movies. But I don't know. I don't think they know the whole direction that they want to take.
I don't think they knew.
And that's what we covered last week. Is they don't know the direction. So it's kind of a bit.
I was really, again, we've talked about this heaps. I was really hopeful for Justice League. I wanted it to be really good. Obviously, having Zack Snyder not being able to finish the movie kind of made it. What do you guys want? Yeah, I mean, like, I had a lot of hope for Justice League. As we've said, and I think Zack Snyder leaving the project obviously made it a whole lot worse than it could have been. But I think that this Snyder, I don't see what DC or Warner Bros. Are going to lose from this. If they release this, they'll earn more money than Justice League, unless it's terrible. They'll earn more money than Justice League. They're getting heaps more money out of it, and it's going to revive their franchise completely. Because off the back of the success of Joker, Wonder Woman, and Aquaman, this is a good step in the right direction, I think.
I think that Zack Snyder was really hitting his stride as director when this movie was being made. Yep. So I think he did have a few movies that are a bit
in this universe.
Yeah, yep. Like I think even before Justice League, he's had a few movies that are a bit so and so because he was only like a newer director, like not a newer director, but he was just kind of finding his groove in the whole superhero thing.
Yeah.
And I think Justice League was going to be his movie that really like showed his capabilities as directing superhero movies. Like, you know how the Russo brothers, you can rely on them to make a great superhero movie. Yeah. I think that Zack Snyder was finding his groove, and I think he found it when he was making Justice League. So it's very upsetting that he had to go, the unfortunate circumstances which happened. I think, it's very disappointing. And I think for him, it's been hard for him to recover, obviously with the loss of his daughter, and then he has to lose the movie. It's something he put so much time into, and he can't, he's not allowed to release it. I think, it will release, but obviously it is very upsetting.
Yeah.
But, if the question still goes, if they do release it and everyone wants more, what do Warner Brothers do?
Yeah, that's the good question, because as we've said on multiple occasions, the DCEU is kind of up in the air at the moment. We don't really know what's going on. I mean, Wonder Woman 84 is set it is set in the same continuity as number 1, which was set in the same universe as BVS, Justice League, Man of Steel. So, yeah, what do you do from here? I think if they did release it, I think they'd be able to pull it in and then have the Batman movie that's coming out tie into that universe, and I think they could salvage it from there because you could just write off Justice League. But yeah, man, I don't know what Warner Brothers would do. I think they'd have to reshape and have a real good look. Do they want to do a DCEU? Do they want to just keep the movie separate? What do you think they should do? Assuming Justice League is received well, the Snyder Cut is received well.
Snyder Cut's received well. They then proceed to make those 2 new superhero movies.
Yes.
The first one is revolving around Clark Kent and his change as a human, and the second one is him finding himself as Superman. So the first one's purely about him finding himself as Clark Kent and a person and realizing who he truly is, and his second one's about him finding himself as Superman, and that's when he returns to the blue suit. Then from there, you make another good Batman movie where he comes out of hiding after the whole detective movie, whatever he's doing now, 2021. Then you bring in, you know, a good Flash movie, another Flash movie, a Cyborg movie, maybe even a Dark Side movie.
What about an Aquaman 2?
Aquaman 2, obviously.
Shazam 2?
Shazam 2. And you just, from there, you bring him in for another Justice League movie or whatever you want to do.
Okay.
And that's the way you get a Kickstarter. You get it rolling, and then you could end the saga after that. You know what I mean? You could do the big Justice League movie finale and then you just end it.
I think so too.
And there you go. That's all you need.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it. I still want to see the Snyder Cut, and I do think it's going to come out next year. People are kind of saying HBO Max.
Yeah, I remember that was a rumor. And I remember you for a while. You were not too... You kind of got sick of the Snyder Cut.
No, I honestly, like 10 weeks ago, I would have been like, I don't want to see this. But
now the more that comes out of it,
I just think there's... When all the original actors kind of get behind it, and Snyder keeps posting all this really, really cool stuff, I really am starting to get excited about it. And I don't think it's a coincidence that all this is coming out.
Yeah.
I think it's got to mean something.
It's got to mean that he's going to leak so much to the point where the whole movie's going to be out in segments.
It has to. It'll be 30-minute videos on Twitter of just like 30, like how many
out of place, and they have to like
and then someone's just got to put them together. I think that's what it's going to be.
But yeah, that's our debate for today.
Yeah,
I'm excited. I mean, this Snyder Cut, fingers are crossed.
Yeah,
it's very, very up in the air. 2020 is going to be a big year. I think the next 3 years will be big. Like 2021 is obviously there's like 7 or 8 superhero movies coming out plus TV shows.
Yeah,
next year is going to be big with the start of Phase 4. Yes.
Yeah.
MCU Phase 4. It's all happening.
It's going to be a massive year. I'm looking forward to it.
So am I.
Yeah.
Was that it for the podcast?
I think it is.
Yes. Do you guys have any departing remarks?
Yep.
No.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it for the Regular Size Man podcast. My name's been Sam. This has been Jacob. If you enjoyed, please check us out on our socials at TRSM Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Hope you guys definitely have a great day, great night. And yeah, we'll see you guys later. Have a good one.